If you're watching this in the first few days after getting laid off, I need you to know something. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. You don't need to apply to 50 jobs today, right? You don't need to be on yet. I'm Xavier. I'm a marketer who was laid off in 2024, and this is Tech Layoff Diaries. It's a 6-week guide for women in tech who just got chopped and need a roadmap out of the chaos. I remember the day I was laid off very vividly. And as soon as my access got cut and that 15-minute meeting with HR popped up on my calendar, my stomach dropped. I thought I was a great employee. I thought I was on the fast track to a promotion. I was so emotionally raw that I actually skipped that meeting. I didn't see the point of rehashing my layoff with a company I was no longer employed with. So this week isn't about searching, it's about stabilizing, protecting yourself, and not falling into a pit of despair. So let's walk through what actually matters in week 1. So days 1 through 2, you want to protect your records. I'm sure not all layoffs operate in a way where you still have access to your work when it happens, but if you do still have a bit of access after getting laid off, you want to save what you legally can, okay? I'm talking your performance reviews, portfolio work or project decks you're allowed to keep, LinkedIn recommendations. Make sure you screenshot those in case somebody wants to run back and delete them. Contact info for your colleagues that you trust. Check your company's policy, but get this stuff now. Your work laptop most likely is going to get wiped, and you want to show proof of what you've accomplished, okay? My access was cut off immediately, and I had to text a former colleague and ask them to pull my metrics for me because I hadn't saved anything, okay? So don't be like me. Keep a running brag doc with all of your wins and your numbers, okay? Make sure you update it quarterly, even when things are going well. Also, remember to get an official letter from HR and ask about severance details, right? Your last paycheck, unused PTO, and whether you're eligible for rehire if you want to. This is usually included in your severance package if you get one, but if not, be sure to write it all down because I'm sure right now you're probably in shock and you won't remember the details. Next, let's talk about money and benefits. Okay, so just take a deep breath because this part sucks, but you need to know your numbers, okay? Step 1, list your essential expenses, right? Your rent or your mortgage, groceries, insurance, minimums on debt, not your old lifestyle, your survival number. That's your runway. Step 2, file for unemployment as soon as you're eligible. And yes, even if you have a severance, even if it feels weird, this is not a time for pride, okay? I filed for unemployment the day after I got laid off. And honestly, I felt embarrassed, like I was letting my family down. But then I had to remind myself, I paid into this system with every single paycheck. This benefit exists for this exact moment. It's not charity, it's yours. So moving on to step 3, health insurance. If you're losing coverage, look into Cobra, the marketplace, or getting onto a partner's plan if you have a partner. But don't skip this because you're overwhelmed, okay? Put a reminder on your phone for today or tomorrow. Now, step 4, you want to pause what you can, okay? Big subscriptions, extra debt payments, that thing you were going to buy, right? Just hit pause until you know your baseline. Now let's move on to the emotional part that no one talks about. Here's what I need you to hear. It's completely normal to feel like your identity was just ripped away from you. Women in tech, especially those of us in roles like marketing or community, already deal with being underestimated. A layoff can feel like confirmation of every insecurity you've ever had, but it's not. This is about business decisions, budget cuts, right? And often straight up bias. It's not about your worth. And to be completely honest with you right now, after I got laid off and closed my computer down, I cried. I cried because I was angry. I blamed myself for getting laid off. Like, did I not do enough to not be on the chopping block for this company, right? And I cried because I didn't know how we were going to make ends meet, or how we were going to feed ourselves or keep clothes on our backs, right? It really is painful. Like, it's a really painful experience where it feels like you've been broken up with without a valid reason as to why. And I felt like, given all that I had done, I was completely unprepared to go back into the job market and search for something new. I also kept thinking, how am I going to save face for my toddler? Like, my husband understood I needed support, but how could I fake emotional steadiness for my kid while I'm falling apart? But here's what I learned very quickly, especially after a couple of conversations with my old boss, who was also laid off, and my ex colleagues, that this layoff wasn't my fault and I didn't do anything wrong, right? And based on the metrics that were shared with me about my work, I was a great employee. And that company dropped the ball. And it had nothing to do with my performance as an employee. And once I really let that sink in, that this isn't about me, I could finally start thinking clearly again. Give yourself permission to feel this week. Cry, sleep in, vent to someone safe, journal, go for a walk. You don't have to be productive yet, right? Forcing yourself into hustle mode on day 3 is a recipe for burnout. You don't need to rewrite your entire resume this week, but do 3 small things. Jot down what you liked about or hated about your last role. What has to change next time, right? Just bullet points. This clarity will matter later. And then do a quick LinkedIn refresh. Add your most recent role, right? And a few key wins while it's fresh on your mind. And don't obsess over making it perfect. And then text or DM 3 to 5 people that you trust. Not to ask for jobs, not yet, just to say, hey, I got laid off. I'm okay, but I wanted you to know. You need emotional support first, right? Opportunities second. I didn't do these 3 things right away, and I regret it. I couldn't see the forest for the trees, right? I was too sad, too angry. But if I'd done this within the first week, I wouldn't have wasted so much time panic applying to jobs that didn't even align with my career goals, right? And by week 3, I'd already forgotten half the cool things that I accomplished at my old job anyway. So don't let this happen to you. So here's what not to do this week, okay? Do not panic apply to 100 jobs, because you'll end up in roles or applying to roles that are worse than what you left. Don't doom scroll LinkedIn watching everyone's I'm excited to announce post, right? And don't blame yourself. Seriously, the self-blame loop is especially brutal for women. Name the systemic stuff, right? Bias, underrepresentation, the fact that support roles get cut first. This is not at all on you. I did all 3 of these in my first week, right? I applied to 30 jobs in the first 48 hours, and half of them I wasn't even qualified for. I doom scrolled until 2 a.m. watching people celebrate new roles. And I convinced myself I'd somehow failed. All it did was leave me exhausted, rejected, and more anxious and angry than I was when I started. So please, learn from my mess. So here are your action items for week 1. Here's your checklist. You don't have to do this all today, right? But aim to get it done before week 2. You want to save your work records and get your layoff letter. Calculate your runway and file for unemployment. Sort out your health insurance, okay? And then you want to do a lightweight LinkedIn update. Then reach out to 3 to 5 people for support. And remember to please give yourself permission to not be okay. And I'll give you one bonus. Set a simple daily routine. Wake up at the same time every day. Move your body for 10 minutes, right? Do one admin task. Talk to one human, right? That's it. Structure will keep you from spiraling out of control. All right, friend, that's all I have for you today. Just remember that week 1 is about survival, not success. You're not behind, right? You're not failing. You're stabilizing. And next week, we're going to talk about taking stock, what you actually want next, how to tell your story, and how to start rebuilding without burning out, okay? Remember that you've got this, and I'll see you in week 2.